Would you like me to read to you? I have 10 minutes before close, and the chapter's short. She asked it the way she asked most things, simply, without the particular inflation that makes an offer feel like charity. The man sitting at the table in the corner of Milford Public Library's reading room had been there since noon. It was now 5:50. He had a newspaper from 3 days ago in front of him that he had not turned the page of in the past hour. He was perhaps 60, wearing a coat that had been good once, and he had the specific quality of someone who had nowhere to go and was not yet ready to admit it. He looked up. She was 25 years old, with her hair coming loose from a bun she had put up at 7 that morning and never gotten around to fixing, and the particular tiredness of someone who has been helping other people find things all day and has not had a moment for herself. He said, "That would be fine." She sat down across from him, opened the book she'd been carrying, a novel she was rereading for the 3rd time, and read the chapter aloud, in the quiet voice she used for story time, the one that went at the pace of the words, rather than the pace of efficiency. When it was done, she closed the book. He was looking at the table. "Thank you," he said. "I haven't had anyone read to me since I was very young." "It's a good chapter," she said. "It earns it." She closed the library. He left. She thought about him on her commute home, the way she thought about people who arrived at the library with something unspoken, and left having spent a few hours somewhere warm. He came back the following Tuesday. Each time he sat at the same corner table, and she read for 10 minutes at close, when the other patrons had gone, and the library had its end-of-day quiet. They read 3 chapters of the novel, and then, when it finished, he asked if she had a recommendation. She thought for 30 seconds, and found him the right book. She learned his name on the 4th visit, Harlan. He didn't offer more. She didn't ask. She learned he had a good vocabulary and a preference for books in which people solved difficult problems through patience rather than force. She learned he had once worked in publishing, long ago, from a single comment he made about a sentence construction. She learned that he found libraries comforting in a way that suggested they had once been important to him. She did not learn where he slept. She had a reasonable understanding. His name was Harlan Croft, 33 years old. He looked older from circumstance. He had been the founder and CEO of Croft Literary Holdings, a rare book acquisition and private collection firm that had spent 8 years building one of the most significant collections of first editions in the northeastern United States. He had lost the business not to failure, but to a legal dispute with a former partner that had taken 3 years and depleted everything: the firm, the operating capital, the apartment, and most of the reserves. He was not entirely without resources. He had a storage unit. The storage unit contained the personal collection, not the firm's, his own, accumulated over 15 years and kept separate from the business assets, because he had known with the particular instinct of someone who had seen disputes before, that the personal collection needed to be protected. The collection was worth considerably more than his current circumstances suggested. He had not been ready to do anything with it, because doing something with it required deciding what the next chapter was. And he had been in the second movement, the sitting in the discomfort, before the resolution, for 8 months. A 25-year-old librarian had been reading to him for 3 weeks. She had recommended the right book in 30 seconds. She had not asked him anything he wasn't ready to answer. He had been thinking about what to do with the collection for 8 months. He had been thinking about it differently for 3 weeks. He came to her on a Thursday when she was pulling the closing books from the return cart. He did not sit at the corner table. He stood near the reference desk with the posture of someone who has made a decision and is ready to say it. "I have a collection," he said. "Books, first editions, rare printings, annotated originals, 340 volumes." He paused. "I've been deciding what to do with them for months." Another pause. "I'd like to donate them to an institution that would curate them properly. Not archive them, curate them. Make them available to people who want to read them, not just scholars who want to study them." She looked at him. Milford doesn't have the capacity for a collection that size, she said honestly. We'd need a specialist to catalog and manage it. That's a funded position we don't currently have. I know, he said. The donation would come with an endowment to fund the position. He looked at the reading room. I'd like to suggest the position be offered to you first. Not obligated, just first. She was very still for a moment. Why me? He looked at the corner table. Because you read to me for 10 minutes when the chapter was short, and I had nowhere to be. Because you found me the right book in 30 seconds. Because a library is only as good as the person who understands what it's for. He paused. You understand what it's for. She looked at the reading room, the tables, the shelves, the corner where a man had sat for 4 Tuesdays and 2 Thursdays, because it was warm and quiet, and someone had offered to read aloud. I'd need to understand the collection first, she said, before I could agree to anything. I expected that, he said. I can take you to it Saturday. She looked at him, this man whose real story she was only beginning to understand, who had been sitting in his own second movement, while she read to him in the evening quiet. Are you going to be all right? She said. Not about the collection, the other thing. He was quiet for a moment. I'm at the third movement, he said, the part where you find out what it means. She nodded. Those are usually the best chapters, she said softly. I'm starting to think so, he said. Read the 10-minute chapter. Offer the warmth without requiring the explanation. The person sitting in the corner may be carrying something the quiet has been helping them decide. And your small, consistent kindness may be exactly what moves them to the next page. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, subscribe, and comment. Let's spread more stories of kindness and hope together.